Consider the sky during a total solar eclipse. What you are witnessing is not just a shadow. It is an extraordinary visual alignment. The sun is roughly 400 times larger than our moon. Yet, it is also roughly 400 times further away. From our vantage point on Earth, they can appear almost perfectly equal in size. Not always, not permanently, but close enough to create one of the most mesmerizing celestial displays in nature. And this obsession with alignment did not stay in the sky. For thousands of years, the builders of the ancient world anchored these ideas into stone. When we measure the most enigmatic structures on Earth, we don't always find crude, primitive approximations. We find a pattern. Across the ancient world, researchers have found monuments, temples, and cities built with an astonishing concern for proportion, distance, and celestial order. Some appear to echo the dimensions of the Earth. Others seem tied to lunar cycles, solar paths, or cardinal directions. Ancient units of measurement, like the Egyptian royal cubit and the megalithic yard. Many believe these were not arbitrary, that they seem to reflect the circumference and rotational speed of the Earth. Whether by coincidence, relentless observation, or something more organized, the pattern keeps returning, aligning temples, statues, and entire landscapes across vast distances, from the undeniable geometry of the Great Pyramid of Giza to the foundational grid of Washington, D.C. The accepted timeline presents these ancient societies as technologically limited, but the stone tells a different story. It tells of a precision problem, a level of execution so baffling, it forces us to ask a deeply uncomfortable question. How is this possible? At the Luxor Temple in Egypt, colossal statues of Ramesses II sit in quiet authority, carved from single blocks of solid granodiorite. To the naked eye, they are masterpieces of ancient art. But art allows for human error. What we are looking at here borders on precision engineering. When modern photogrammetry and three-dimensional digital analysis are applied to these faces, the results are deeply unsettling. If you map the left side of the pharaoh's face, flip it digitally, and overlay it onto the right, it is an astonishing match. The curvature of the cheeks, the sharp flare of the nostrils, the exact arc of the jawline, symmetrical to an almost impossible degree, across a massive three-dimensional surface, carved into granodiorite, an igneous rock containing quartz, ranking a 7 on the Mohs hardness scale. A human sculptor, using a copper chisel, which only ranks a 3 on that same hardness scale, would struggle to maintain this level of symmetry. One strike too heavy, one slight miscalculation with a stone pounder, and the geometry is permanently altered. Yet, the execution of these statues is breathtaking. They appear to be built upon a rigid mathematical grid. We see the same baffling tolerances in the massive boxes of the Serapeum of Saqqara, boxes weighing up to 100 tons, carved from Aswan rose granite, quarried over 500 miles away and transported through the desert. Their interior corners are incredibly square, and their surfaces incredibly flat. To achieve this easily today, modern engineers would use diamond-tipped tools and computer-controlled milling machines. We are told the ancients worked with river rocks, copper, and sand. But looking at this stone, the question is not whether they had tools. The question is, how did those tools produce this level of repeatable precision? We have seen the baffling precision of the stone. Now, we must look at where the stones were placed, because when we zoom out from the statues and the temples, a much larger pattern begins to take shape. Consider the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 3/60ths of a single degree, a level of precision that modern structural engineers would admire today. But its alignment is only the beginning. Many researchers point out that the Great Pyramid appears to function as a mathematical scale model of the Earth itself. If you take its original designed height, exactly 481.4 feet, and multiply it by 43,200, it closely mirrors the polar radius of the Earth. If you take the perimeter of its base, exactly 3,023 feet, and multiply it by that exact same number, it mirrors the equatorial circumference of the Earth. And the number 43,200, it is mathematically tied to the precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of the Earth's axis as it rotates through the cosmos, encoded into millions of tons of stone. And they didn't just build on the Earth, they seem to build with it. If you draw a great circle route around the globe, you find a striking alignment connecting Giza to Petra, Persepolis, Mohenjo-Daro, Angkor Wat, Easter Island, and the Nazca Lines, a continuous path around the planet, raising questions about whether chance alone is enough to explain the pattern. Our history books present these civilizations as entirely disconnected, but the mathematics, the repeating ratios, and the landscape alignments suggest they may have shared a common understanding of the Earth, or perhaps inherited a legacy we have yet to uncover. This knowledge of the Earth and the stars, it didn't just vanish into the sands of antiquity. Even in the modern world, geometry, symbolism, alignment, and power remain inextricably linked. To see it, you don't have to travel to the deserts of Egypt or the jungles of Cambodia. You only need to look at the street grid of Washington, D.C., designed in 1791 by Pierre Charles L'Enfant. On the surface, it is the capital of a new nation, but from above, it is a massive geometric puzzle. The streets radiating from the Capitol building and the White House do not just form functional intersections. When you trace the lines of Massachusetts Avenue, Rhode Island Avenue, and Connecticut Avenue, they map out precise geometry, sacred proportions carved directly into the landscape. The distances between monuments are not entirely arbitrary. Many reflect the same mathematical ratios used by the ancients. Buildings and avenues that some researchers argue align with solar events and symbolic celestial patterns. The same principles of cosmic architecture, seen at Giza, seen at Teotihuacan, echoed in the Americas. Why? Why go to such extreme lengths to encode the mechanics of the solar system into stone and street grids? Whether it is a colossal granite face with remarkable symmetry, a network of ancient temples sharing a geometric alignment, or the layout of a modern capital city, the pattern is difficult to ignore. It challenges the timeline of human history as we know it. It leaves us staring at the remnants of what feels like a lost science. We are looking at what feels like a fingerprint, perhaps of a lost science, perhaps of an inherited tradition, perhaps of something we still do not fully understand, from the extraordinary perfection of a granite face, to the geometric alignments of the Earth, to the striking visual ratios of the sun and the moon. It is difficult to view this as just a collection of random, isolated coincidences. It feels like a deliberate system, a language written in the one medium that could survive the cataclysms of time: solid stone. When you stand before these monuments, or look down at the geometric grids of our modern cities, you are not just looking at the past. You are looking at a message sent forward in time. A message suggesting they knew the shape of the universe, that they possessed an engineering capacity that challenges everything we've been taught. The orthodox story of our origins tells a comforting tale of slow, steady progress, from the cave to the copper chisel to the computer. But the sheer precision of the ancient world fractures that timeline. It forces us to face an unsettling possibility. Our history may be incomplete. Our memory may be fractured. We are wandering through the ruins of masters, staring at the sheer brilliance of their work. And no matter how many times the textbooks tell us they were technologically limited, the stone leaves us with one inescapable feeling. This is not normal. How is this possible? The truth of our past is hiding in plain sight, waiting for those willing to look past the accepted narrative. If you have watched this far, you already know that the story we've been told is incomplete. The patterns are real. The mathematics are difficult to ignore. But this is only one piece of the puzzle. Here at DidjaKnow, we are going to keep following the evidence, pulling at the threads of history until the real picture comes into view. If this journey shifted the way you look at the ancient world, leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think they were trying to tell us? Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because we have only just scratched the surface, and the next piece of the puzzle will take us even deeper. And as always, stay curious.